Hello, everybody. This is me again, project number 5 now, so getting close to the end of the course here in anatomy and physiology. So, this one, I just want to quickly go over, get you guys a little brainstorming session going in before you have to dive in and answer these questions for this project. And so, if you haven't already noticed, a lot of these projects in this course are you as a researcher or as a maybe practitioner in the doctor's office or something, and here you are diagnosing or carrying out some different analyses of whatever. And so I know project number 4, you guys looked at a urinalysis test, so urine sample. And so this one's going to be kind of similar. Um, Not that you will be analyzing some data given, but let's say someone was to come into your office and needed a diagnosis or based on this alcoholism, or how could you diagnose to determine whether or not someone has alcoholism? And it's really not as simple. I mean, we've all seen someone drunk. If you haven't, you're lucky. Sometimes, and then sometimes they're kind of funny, right? But however, there are effects that alcohol can have on individuals, and everyone's different, right? And so I want to dive into this a little bit. So the first thing I wanted to dive into is just what is alcoholism. And previously, before this project, it goes into basically what alcoholism is in a way, and it even talks about how in certain people there's several things that can determine whether or not someone is drunk to an excessive amount, and there are certain factors that can affect that. But there was a couple things I wanted to read. So according to this first website, it says excessive alcohol use can increase a person's risk of developing serious health problems, in addition to those issues associated with intoxication behaviors and alcohol withdrawal symptoms. And then according to DSM-5, which is a psychology book, pretty much guideline for people, psychologists, to diagnose and things. It says alcoholism is believed to have a strong inheritable component, with between 40 to 6% of the variation of risk being attributed to genetic factors. I find this very interesting because my master's degree is actually in genetics and biology, and it's interesting to see these kind of statistics here of how certain people are more prone to be alcoholic than other people. And um and it all and and there's another factor with genetics too that this brings into play. It's called epigenetics, and see the effects that environmental conditions can have. And so just because someone might have predisposition due to their genes to be prone to be alcoholics and be more addicted to alcohol than others, does not mean that will be the case. And so if you take certain measures, there are things that you might be able to do to decrease this, and you know it all comes down to self-control, right? And making sure that if you do drink, you drink just enough so that you're not above the legal limit. And of course, gender and weight play an important role in that. And then going to genetics, there are eating healthy and exercise can also help with this as well, and making sure that just the environment that you live. Do you surround yourself by people that are drinking all the time, smoking, that kind of thing can all play important roles in this, and can also affect your genes at the same time, even though you're already living and stuff. Our genes can alter in our lifetime. Anyways, there's this good website right there, alcohol.org, that has a lot of information if you're interested in this, and you'll actually need to use the website to answer a few questions here in the future. So basically, how can alcoholism be diagnosed? So first of all, people that have alcoholism, they must meet 2 criteria, and they have to meet it within a 12-month period. And so this is a list of some of those things. So they're using alcohol in higher amounts. They're unable to cut down on the amount of alcohol that they drink. Um, they spend a lot of time, excessive amounts of time, thinking about their next drink, where they're going to get it, how they're going to get it, etc. So it's really affecting their life. Um, Cravings, kind of go with that. And there's other things, and you start maybe not being able to fill obligations at work and home or school. And when you start having those kinds of things, that's definitely um, an addiction, and it's going to affect your life. And so go get help. And so anyways, if you're meeting these at least two of these within a 12-month period, you are actually considered AUD. And so that's kind of interesting, actually, to me, is it wouldn't be hard to meet two of these. And so the statistics are right there that this is very common. And so looking at this, there are several symptoms, and I'm not going to go into this a bunch. I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want you guys to explore this on your own. So going to alcohol.org/alcoholism, you can, it'll go into both short-term and long-term consequences there, looking at long-term effects that it could have on especially your liver. And that's what this project goes into a little bit, is looking at the effect that this has on your liver and on liver failure in the long term. And so I want you guys to look at this a little bit more to answer that question. The last question that you guys will have to discuss, and I want this to be evidence-based, okay? And so with this, I want it to follow claim, evidence, reasoning. And so very similar to those discussions, do you think this is a disease, an addiction, or both? I want you to make a claim, okay? There is debate on this, and some people think it's a disease. Some people think it's just an addiction. Some people think that it can be both. And so I want you guys to make that claim. Do you think it's a disease? Do you think it's an addiction? And then back your claim with evidence and reason that out. Explain to me in more deeply why you believe this is to be true. And so scour the internet for things. Make sure you get a source to cite for your evidence to back this up. All right. So there's the first part of this lab. I think that is like lesson 22. And so now going into lesson 24, will be part 2. And in this lesson, what you guys have been learning about is different glands in your body. And one of those glands is the thyroid. And so the thyroid is very, very important. It actually will make a thyroid hormone, is one of the hormones that it produces. And it helps just keep a lot of balances in our body where it needs to be. What you're going to do in this project is you're actually going to research iodine deficiency. Iodine is a valuable resource that we need in our body, and we can't make it on our own. We have to take this in through our diet. And so a lot of people, a lot of civilizations and populations on Earth don't get enough iodine just because of the place they live, a lot of third world countries and things. And one of the symptoms that actually occur is it's called a goiter. And so this is a picture of a goiter. They get this, it looks like a lump of mass on their neck, and it's called a goiter, and it's because of that. They just have insufficient iodine in their diet. And so what I want you guys to do is research this topic, okay, which is iodine deficiency. And this needs to be a 3-paragraph report. And what you will do is your first paragraph will answer this first question: why is iodine deficiency a problem? The second paragraph will answer what are the symptoms of iodine deficiency. And then the third is what are some possible solutions to iodine deficiency throughout the world. You guys, I want this all to be evidence-based, so you need to cite your work. And if needed, make sure, well, it is going to be needed. You need to have some sort of a work cited when you submit this, that you'll have your 3 paragraphs. Then down at the bottom, I want the list of links that you use, and make sure you cite the data in your paragraphs, or I'm going to dock you on this. And so make sure you do not plagiarize. And so where you're getting that information, make sure in parentheses you just specify what website or source you get it from. I do have a few resources here for you to use, and I will link this PowerPoint into this document, or into this walkthrough page. so that you can have access to these slides and these web pages. So anyways, if you have any questions when it comes to this, if you need help with writing your paragraph and you want to have structure in that and make sure you have everything that you need, the big points are just make sure that it's 3 paragraphs. You're answering each question in 1 paragraph, and that you cite your source, and you'll get full points for that part. And if you have any questions, though, please don't hesitate to email me, text me, or get a hold of me via Google Hangouts or during my live office hours on Wednesdays at 4:30. I will talk to you guys later.